Good afternoon and welcome to the Edge Market Update after the close on February 9th, 2024. And we had a February WASDE report yesterday that resulted in some selling off today here in the markets as we made a new low on corn, and soybeans are currently just hovering above their lows. The big news out of the February WASDE report was that the USDA continues to not trust CONAB, which is Brazil's USDA, and also the private estimates down there that the crop is declining pretty well. The USDA continues to overstate quite a bit higher than what the CONAB is reporting, and so as a result, we had a slightly bearish WASDE report yesterday. We also had ending stocks increase over a little bit worsening demand, I believe mainly from China, but we will continue to watch that. It really, prices didn't sell off as much as I thought they would have after the release of the numbers, so that was positive that we did sell off a little bit, but nothing enormous. So as we move on to the charts here, we're going to start with old crop corn on the March 24 contract. We did break below and close below that 436 support level from the middle of January and also late January. We made a fresh low today at $4.29 and closed down here. That puts us in a potential test of down on this bottom trend line here, which would be about $4.25 on corn. We had some decent selling volume above the 50-day moving average on volume. Strength indicators continue to decline. We have some negative divergence forming here. Really, if we break out above there, that would consider maybe we might have some strength coming here from these strength indicators, but as of right now, we just keep declining and becoming weaker. Money flows are extremely oversold as well, and long-term momentum is negative, and actually we curled back lower this week, which does not look good to me personally. But really, for any type of positive development out of this, we have to recover this $4.36 level, which would give us an opportunity to travel back up here and test the 440 to 443 level at the moving averages, and ultimately trendline resistance around the $4.50 area. If I had old crop corn left to sell, this is probably an area of interest I would be looking at if we did get up there at some point. Seasonally, we are entering a time where managed money does typically cover their short positions as North America prepares to plant their corn crop, but it's undecided on when that happens. So we just have to be patient and get an opportunity to make some more old crop sales. But again, long term we're very oversold, and the short term we're very oversold. We really want to sell bushels into strength when we can. Moving on to March soybeans, we made a new low at $11.79 this week, and we so far held at the close on Friday. Would really like to see us keep holding this level into next week, and to see any bullish development, would want us to recapture this $12 level here where the 9-day moving average is, followed by $12.10 at the 20-day moving average, and then we have trendline resistance here all the way from the November high. That will be hard resistance in my opinion. If we got to about 12.30 and you needed to sell some more bushels, might want to consider doing that there. We do have the 50-day moving average all the way up here at $12.69. That would also be a nice level to potentially reduce some risk if you are holding on to some old crop beans, if you need to make some sales for cash flow needs. Strength indicators, we do have some positive divergence forming, even though we've had declining prices, so that is good, but we are at an inflection point. It looks like it could break lower if we do get any more weakness in price early next week. Money flows are back to an oversold position again. Long-term momentum, we are negative. We're below the neutral line, but we have been flattening out here nicely. So potentially, if we do get any type of positive developments here in the next 1 to 2 weeks, could turn this back higher and maybe gravitate more towards a neutral reading on these old crop soybeans. New crop corn, we did break below the support from mid-January, late January, closed at $4.68 today, which is a new low. We had some decent selling volume, and strength indicators are also pretty weak, money flows are very weak in the short term, and long-term momentum obviously is negative. And we are crossing back to move lower, it looks like here potentially. So, really to see any type of bullish development, we have to recapture $4.71 prior support now moving forward. And then above there is $4.76. That is some where the shorter term moving averages are. Those will act as resistance. And then up above there, we have $4.93 at the 50-day moving average. But would really, even to consider getting back up to the 490s, really need to clear that low 480 level where we topped out and failed at the end of January and early in February. But again, very oversold in the long term and the short term on the new crop corn. New crop soybeans also. We did make a new low this week, but we closed above it. That new low is at $11.62. We closed the day today on November 24 beans at $11.64. So we did close above that low. Strength indicators are showing a little bit of sign of positive divergence, but again at a critical spot. Really depends on price action to begin early next week on what happens on these strength indicators. Money flows, again, oversold reading. And long-term momentum, we are negative, but we are flattening out. So potentially a time where if we did get some positive developments, we could start gravitating back towards that neutral line. But again, hard trend line resistance on new crop soybeans in that 12.20 to 12.10 area where, if we did get up there, I know it's not a pretty number right now, but it might be a good place to put on some hedges for new crop soybeans if that number makes sense for you and your farming operation. And just want to finish up the video today with the longer term corn and soybean charts all the way back to 2010. As you can see here, we broke out of the $4.30 area back in COVID. We had those nasty lows back in the middle of 2020 during COVID, and we just went on a tear. And this is the inflection point that's kind of controlled either the bullish long-term narrative or the bearish long-term narrative right here between $4.40 and about $4.10. We are back in this area now, so we have pretty much erased the commodity super cycle the past 4 years in price where we broke out of in the COVID low during 2020. So this is critical support here in this range, and if we cannot hold, that puts us in potentially subject to these lows down from $4 to the mid to low threes. But hopefully this will hold as support and at least give us an opportunity to get back up to that 520 to 540 area where we see a lot of price consolidation in the long term. So that would be really nice if we could get back up to this level up here as we approach planting season and through the rest of this year to potentially make some more longer term sales. But in the meantime, we're just extremely oversold on strength. I mean, the last time we were this oversold was in April of 2020 when we were trading at 309. Before then, middle of 14 and the middle of 13 when we were at 318 and then $4. So just very oversold in the long term. And then on soybeans, again, back in this inflection point in the long term, back to 2011. This is controlling the long-term bullish narrative all the way back from 2011 to 2014. And then we have the bearish narrative from 14 all the way to 20. And so this is what is controlling whether or not we are going to stay in this super cycle or if we're going to move back down to these deflationary levels in commodities. Again, extremely oversold, the most since late 2014 when beans went from $15 down to $9. So that's an interesting development. Hopefully we can again hold these levels here in this range and at least get back up to these points where we see a lot of consolidation in price, maybe in the mid to high $13 range to consider making some more longer term sales. With that being said, hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you for watching, and please contact us anytime if you have any questions.